All right, guys. So recently I have been getting back into 9/11, and I came across something really interesting. It's something I've always wondered when it comes to the people trapped right around where the plane struck and above. Would it be possible to break one of the windows and kind of shimmy down the side of one of the Twin Towers? And there's actually a story that I hadn't even heard about until recently when I got back into the research of it. Somebody actually scaled, or I guess scaled isn't the right term. Somebody shimmied down the side of the North Tower 20 floors. And I'm going to set the visual on how this whole thing happened. So the North Tower gets struck first. Obviously, everyone in the building shocked. They don't know what to do. Nobody thinks it's going to collapse, but people are, disoriented, especially people on where the plane struck or above. But this guy who is anonymous, we don't know who he is. He was located in the North Tower. I guess in a horrible situation like this, you would rather be in the North Tower, considering the North Tower got hit first, remained up longer than the South Tower. You had more time to react to it. Just in that sense, the North Tower gets struck, the South Tower gets struck, and the man starts shimmying down from the 94th floor. He makes it 20 floors, just shimmying down. And I got some pictures of the side looking up and looking down from one of the window cleaners back in like 2000 of one of the Twin Towers, and kind of how you would shimmy down. I think the best way to do it in a situation like that is if you put one foot on one pillar and the other foot on the other, and you kind of shimmy down that way. You also might be able to use that really small ledge. They were saying he might have been using that, but that, like the window ledge, but that is very, very small. And then the thing with the Twin Towers, it gets even more narrow as the lower you go. I don't want to steal an image, but there is a crazy, very, very sad image. Apparently this dude, as he was shimmying down, I guess you would call it a column, there was a window that was cracked wide open right to the right of him, like one over, and you can see it. It's like content that I guess it was behind a paywall and then someone showed it, but either way, he could have climbed right through that and gotten out of the building. This was before either tower had collapsed. Both of them had been hit. He starts shimmying down 20 floors. It takes him 20 or 25 minutes, and then what ends up happening to him, visualize this. You're shimmying down the side of one of the Twin Towers, the North Tower. The South Tower collapses. Apparently, at least this is the theory, when the South Tower collapsed, it startled him. It might have, the wind might have grabbed him. Just the overall downblast of it might have, the momentum might have taken him. Maybe he was just startled by the noise. I mean, imagine it's right next to you. The South Tower is collapsing. The rubble, the roar of that would be so crazy. And no one saw him after that. So he must have somehow fallen. It wasn't a situation. I know there's videos that go around of people trying to climb down the World Trade Center, but they immediately slip and just, fall off. This dude was actually had a grip, and he was shimmying down, and he made it 20 floors, and the only thing that caused him to fall was the South Tower collapsing. I mean, what a crazy story that I didn't even know about. And yeah, I mean, could you imagine if he somehow would have made it? It would have been a problem if he would have gotten lower, because the columns come in and they're tighter. So it would have been a real issue. And then you also have, where they curve up at the bottom. You would have to try and it's hard to explain on video, but I would try and do a maneuver to get below that, but it would be very, very hard. Maybe there would be a window broken lower or something like that. But this dude, this might have been like the only case of someone scaling down one of the Twin Towers and escaping it. And the real only chance you would have is if you're located in the North Tower, because the North Tower, again, got hit first and then it came down last. You would have more time. You could say, there were a lot of people in the South Tower that did escape. The saddest thing was they told people to stay in the South Tower. I mean, it's hard. Like, you don't think both buildings are going to get struck. A lot of people thought it was an accident at first anyways, but just a really, really sad situation. I didn't even know that someone actually made it 20 floors down just shimmying. And when you look at the photos from the window cleaner of it, you know, again, it looks like the best technique to use is to put your one foot on the one column and your entire back and your other foot on the other column and just slowly shimmy down. That's probably the best way to go about it. But a pretty crazy story, and then the idea that the only thing that knocks him off is the collapse of the South Tower. I mean, I couldn't even imagine you're hanging on by a thread to the side of the building, you know, trying to get leverage up against it, you know, and the other tower just collapses. I don't even know. It probably just startled the hell out of him. I mean, it's such a loud noise right next to you, as well as the tower literally shaking. Because apparently there were reports in the North Tower when the South Tower went down, it caused the North Tower to shake back and forth because of the impact. That is the story of we all think of, you know, the 9/11 climbers, all the firefighters going up the stairs. That dude was trying to, I don't even think it's not even climbing down. He was trying to just shimmy down the side of the column. And there were other cases of it happening where, you know, people just couldn't take it and they had to try and get out. And most of the people that I've seen in the videos, they will try and get some type of grip on the exterior column, and they'll just pretty much immediately fall down after like a few seconds. This was the only dude who actually was able to somewhat controllably move down the side of the building, and just a really remarkable story. Imagine if he actually got to the bottom, like the ground. I don't think he could have because of those columns, but like imagine like how badass would that be? You just climb down 85 floors and you're at the bottom. I mean, that would be the craziest story one of the craziest stories from 9/11, no doubt. I was just reading something about this specific story. It says, supposing the man could have made his way to the 76th mechanical floors, where the columns narrowed another 10 inches or so, but did not have windows to vet the equipment behind it, he could have possibly dropped himself from the office floor down to a very tight squeeze, then fall back into the space and escape via a stairwell. That is a crazy, crazy story, but that's something that I didn't even know happened. I thought, like pretty much all of them, and when you see them in the videos, you know, they just are able to cling to the side of it and then they immediately lose their grip. But I didn't even know a dude actually made it like 20 floors down the side. But that is the story of the 9/11 climber. Guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.